What is good, fam? I'm your host, JP Buffett, and welcome to This Week in Points in Travel. On today's episode, we'll be talking about United's expansion into the land down under. We're going to the land down under. Right. How expensive international tickets have become. Hyatt getting into the longer stay enterprise. An 80K secret chase bonus on the Sapphire Preferred. And the upcoming hybrid solar eclipse. If you're interested in those stories, stay tuned. Yes, guys, like I said, this is the first episode of This Week in Points in Travel. I thank you all for coming and joining me for this first episode. I will be talking about different topics, different news stories that I found interesting this week and sharing them with you. So with that, let's get into the first story. Starting off with United. Yes, United is going to be making some more destinations to the land down under. That is Australia and New Zealand and other places in the South Pacific. They are about to become the largest carrier between the United States and the South Pacific. Actually, this is according to a report from the Points Guy. They're going to be able to do this by adding more flights and expand the service to several popular locations in Australia and New Zealand, which, as anybody knows, is the land of hobbits. I actually enjoy the Lord of the Rings movie, so hearing about this expansion into New Zealand is actually pretty nice for me. This expansion actually is slated to start sometime in the winter season in the Northern Hemisphere, so this will be the summertime in the Southern Hemisphere because the Earth goes on its axis. But yeah, this is great for people who are trying to get that summer getaway and go down to Australia or New Zealand using United. So the question is, how is United going to be able to do this? Well, they're having partnerships with Air New Zealand, which I have to say is getting a lot of headway here in New York. I have seen their advertisements everywhere. I've seen them in the subway. I've seen them, when I'm going throughout the city. So yeah, Air New Zealand is definitely trying to get a lot of buzz going. So their partnership with United is also pretty advantageous for them. And also Virgin Australia, which honestly, I did not know was a thing. But apparently they've been around since about 2000. They were initially called Virgin Blue. That's neither here nor there. But yes, United will be partnering with Air New Zealand and Virgin Australia. These are the two South Pacific partners that will be helping United basically get this feat of going from the United States to Australia, to New Zealand, to the South Pacific in general. So yeah, according to the Points Guide, together with these carriers, United will be adding in more one-stop connections between nearly 50 destinations in the region. So basically, you're going to be able to take United flights from the United States to Australia or New Zealand, and with connections from these carriers like Virgin Australia and Air New Zealand, you're going to be able to get to more destinations. So this is pretty advantageous. I'm sure it's going to be able to help people save a lot of money on their flights and on their destinations once they get to the land down under. I'm not actually sure how this will play out, but according to a senior vice president of global network planning and alliances, Patrick Quayle, I think your last name is Quayle. Excuse me, Patrick, for butchering your last name if I did. But he says this is a very calculated, very rational move on that part. And they're basically saying this because a lot of competitors like American Airlines, for example, are not back to pre-pandemic levels in the South Pacific. Their partnerships with, like I said before, with Virgin and Air New Zealand is going to definitely help them boost their footprint. So yeah, this is all very exciting news, especially for people who want to travel to Sydney. I know I am one of them. I'm hoping that this will actually lower the price of getting down to Australia, and hopefully maybe I can see the land of the hobbits one day. But yeah, like I said, this is great news coming from United. Hopefully we'll see what happens with pricing. But yeah. Let's stay on the topic of international travel and its cost. Did you know this? That it costs 20 to 30% more to fly internationally. This is coming from an article from Travel and Leisure, and where they cite the American Automobile Association, or AAA for short, that found that international travel from the U.S. had increased by more than wait for it, more than 200% since 2022. That is crazy, and prices are actually still rising. It makes sense. I've been trying to find certain flights and whatnot to Europe, and it hasn't been looking good. My checkbook is crying when I think about it. My checkbook, my credit card, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they found that ticket prices alone have jumped 30% since 2022. And you can think about the top destinations, like your London's, which increased by 350%. This is followed by Rome and Paris and Dublin. All the places that people want to go, they are increasing in price. So, I'm actually surprised by the London one because, like, every time I even think about surcharges going to Heathrow, it is crazy expensive. But yeah, the prices are going up, and they're not. There seems to be no sign of them stopping. But again, this is about points in travel, so this is not all doom and gloom. There are ways around this. There are ways you can still get a good deal. You can still get a good deal. Especially in the points in miles community, you can find good award availability. If you look for it, take your time. Remember, Google Flights is your friend. This is in addition to apps like Hopper, for example, and even Kayak. If you want to use that to find cheap flights, you can also consider flying midweek. I know a lot of people are rolling their eyes at me. Why am I going to fly midweek? Why am I going to fly on a Tuesday or Wednesday? But this is possible. This is a way to save some money. But I do understand. It's not everybody can do that. But these are ways that you can save money. I would go obviously off peak if you can. Go during the middle of the week, or you can even go to some of the airports that are less visited. I brought up London, for example. Heathrow is the airport that's most widely used, but you can go to airports like Gatwick. I know that North Airways, which is basically I call it the transatlantic Spirit Airlines. Basically, they are a budget airline that gets you from all the way from the West Coast, like San Francisco, over into London for a pretty low fare. Yeah, they nickel and dime for everything, but you can kind of like customize. You can customize your service. So it might be an option for people who are looking for this. It's not the best approach, but it is a way for people to get there. At the end of the day, I would say, if this was me, and prices are increasing by 30% or whatnot, I would take the route less traveled. And by that, I mean, I'll go to places where folks ain't going. Where people are not going. It's a big world out there. And we have to, get out of the going to the Parises and the Londons of the world. Maybe we want to go to a place that might not be on our radar is a bit cheaper. Or maybe we don't want to go to Europe. If you're in the States, or vice versa. But again, these are just suggestions. If you want to go to the more touristy places, I think the best way of doing this, again, this is for the points and miles community. I think you guys probably already know that. But the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to open a new credit card, get the sign up bonus if you have some spend already coming. Obviously, pay your cards, pay a statement in full every month. But get that sign up bonus and use those points, leverage those points to travel to these places so you can make it cheaper. That's a great way to use points, especially given that these things are going up 200%. 200%. That is crazy. So yeah, guys, international travel has become a lot more expensive, and you might be looking for that. But if you put the work in, you can find the flights, or you can use points to find award availability, and yeah, it can work to your advantage. But be on the lookout for that, guys. The prices are increasing. Yes, we'll take a break here before we move on to our next story. So I'm going to move right on to the next story, and this story is coming from the Points Guy, and it's talking about Hyatt Studios to be exact. Apparently, Hyatt is trying to get into the affordable long stay space, though they say it's not affordable. They're not trying to get into it. I'll talk about that a little more in a second. But they announced on Tuesday that Hyatt Studios, which is an upper mid-scale brand for the Americas, for basically for the United States, and I assume Latin America, maybe Mexico, I don't know. It is an up mid-scale brand for the Americas, which I had no idea what upper mid-scale meant, but apparently it means places like the Hampton Inn, the Comfort Inn, and my favorite, the Holiday Inn, Word to Chingy. If you have not heard that song after this podcast, please go listen to Holiday Inn by Chingy. It is a classic. But I digress. But the goal of this is to court both, extended stay travelers, people who are trying to stay a little bit longer, as well as shorter stay leisure and business customers. This is like all according to the points guy. Now, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I would say, like you're trying to get everybody. It doesn't. I don't see what differentiates this. But of course, they might be going for the more budgety person. They say it's upper mid scale, but I still think they're going for people who have a bit of a budget and they're trying to extend their time out. Yeah, so the company claims in a letter of interest, which honestly doesn't really mean that much. I mean, you are interested in doing something. But yeah, they claim in a letter of interest with multiple hotel developers to build more than 100 Hyatt studio hotels. 100 Hyatt studio hotels. And construction is expected to begin later this year with the first hotel slated to open in 2024, which I would assume will be late 2024 because that'll be a very, very fast turnaround if it is any time sooner than that. So I would say maybe like October to December 2024. But yeah, this hotel would include, in addition to a in-room kitchen, it will have a grab-and-go breakfast and a 24-hour market, which sells ready-made meals, which is great for me because I do not like cooking on trips. I do not care for an in-room kitchen. It is not for me. But I guess extended stay is not for me. I don't know. But yeah, like I said before, apparently Hyatt Studios is still supposed to be going to high-end guests. I mean, if that is, tell me how you really feel, Hyatt. Tell me that you don't want me without telling me that you don't want me. I get they're trying to play tough, and they're trying to keep their things like their statuses and whatnot. It's hard to get Hyatt status, and whatnot. But and the other hotels honestly are mad expensive. It's honestly when I look at some of their hotels, I think about staying at. They're ridiculously expensive. But I guess that's their MO. I guess that's what they do. But I would think it is a mistake to forego the budget traveler, especially the younger ones. I mean, you want the young people to get, to have brand loyalty. You want them to have brand loyalty. And, when they're young and broke, they can't afford these higher end places. So they might go to a more budget friendly place. And as they get older, hey, this they might think, hey, this place has gone done well by me. I'm gonna splurge a bit more here and go to their brand. But who knows? That's my 2 cents. But in conclusion, yes, Hyatt is opening Hyatt Studios, which is a longer stay type of hotel. Similar again to the Comfort Inn, the Holiday Inn. Word to Chingy, go check it out. But yeah, we're gonna move on to our next story here. So yeah, our next story is a short one. I am sure you have heard the rumblings going around. If you have not, I will break it for you. The Chase Sapphire Preferred 80K offer is back. Unfortunately, it's not the 100K offer, but it is 80K. 80K is a lot of points, especially coming from Chase. It is actually through a referral link that is not actually on the Chase website. So I will put that in the description for you to click on and find that 80K offer if you are interested in looking at that. But yeah, the Sapphire Preferred has a valuation of about 1.25 cents per point when you're going through the Chase portal, and it can be worth a significant amount more if you go through transfer partners. There are thousands, I'm sure, videos, or maybe a thousand, maybe hundreds of videos that are talking about the value of the Chase Sapphire or the Chase Point Ultimate Reward Point if you're looking for that. But I think it's a great pickup. 80K, great pickup. I think it's about what $1,045 in value if you value at 1.25 cents per point for a $95 annual fee. Not bad. Not bad at all. So definitely worth looking into. But remember, like always, your mileage may vary. In our last story today, it will be a little fun one. We are talking about solar eclipses, specifically a solar eclipse that happened on Wednesday. Um, yes, it is a hybrid solar eclipse. It kicked off a hybrid solar eclipse. And what exactly is a hybrid solar eclipse? I have no idea, so I'm glad they told me. But this is coming from an article in Travel and Leisure, where basically you have two types of solar eclipses. And excuse me, I'm gonna get a little sciencey on you for a second. But you have total solar eclipses, where the moon gets really big. It's in between the Earth and the Sun, and it blocks out a portion of the Earth that is with the sun. You have annular solar eclipses, which are tiny when the moon is really tiny, but it blocks out basically the center part of the sun, leaving a ring of fire. Word to Johnny Cash on that one. But yeah, a hybrid solar eclipse will basically just means what the name is. It is a blend between the two. It is a hybrid. So you get both the total solar eclipse, but you also get the annular solar eclipse. And this is basically because of the curvature of the Earth, and it allows you to see both. I think this one actually happened in the U.S. Some years ago. I think 2016. But yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back, and it'll be great. Especially if you're looking to see your first or your second or third or whatever solar eclipse. But the question is, how will you see the solar eclipse? Well, unfortunately, like I said, we missed the one on Wednesday, but there will be one coming in October. There will be one coming in October and next spring, and the best spot to see that is in Western Australia. So, those United flights might actually come in handy. Who knows? But yes, guys, that is it here from me from this first episode of This Week in Points in Travel. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please leave a like, drop a comment in the comment section below if you let me know what you think about the podcast. But yeah, guys, please join me back here next Friday for more Points in Travel news. And until next time, guys, peace.